Priya Parker, The Art of Gathering, How We Meet and Why It Matters. Welcome to the world of meaningful gatherings. In this summary of The Art of Gathering, How We Meet and Why It Matters by Priya Parker, we explore the idea of making gatherings worth our time, both professionally and personally. Delve into the importance of setting clear purposes, selecting attendees consciously, and honoring your guests, and discover how to foster authenticity and presence throughout your events. Uncover the importance of rules, the role of hospitality, and the power of memorable endings. With these practical tips and insights, you will revolutionize the way you gather and create experiences that make a lasting impact.
The Art of Gathering. Gatherings are a ubiquitous part of our lives, be it with family, friends, co-workers, or acquaintances. Yet, many times we find ourselves in uneventful gatherings marred by boredom and missed opportunities for human connection. Even non-professional gatherings are no longer as satisfying, and churches have dwindling memberships. Our usual approach to such events only focuses on the formalities of hosting, while the human aspect is overlooked. However, it is possible to hold meaningful and thought-provoking gatherings through steps that anyone can follow, regardless of their location or social skills. The Art of Gathering is a must-read guide, not just for hosting successful events, but also for learning about human connection and relationships. Purpose-driven gatherings. Learn how to create gatherings that are built around a clear purpose, not just ritualized formats. Have you ever noticed that most of our gatherings follow ritualized formats rather than being built around a clear purpose? This is why we spend so much time in meetings and why a quick email exchange can be more effective than a weekly catch-up meeting. In social gatherings, we also tend to follow traditions blindly without questioning their purpose. The author of this book realized this when her friends wanted to throw her a baby shower. Her husband also wanted to be involved, but the ritualized format of women gathering together didn't support their desire to parent equally. The book suggests that when organizing a gathering, we should focus less on what we want to do and more on why we want to do it. By setting a clear purpose, we can make better decisions about how to organize the event. For instance, if the purpose of a birthday gathering is to surround yourself with people who make you happy, an intimate dinner with your closest friends would be more satisfying than a barbecue with everyone from Aunt Mary to Bob from accounts. And if the real purpose is to step out of the everyday routine, then bungee jumping with a friend could be a better alternative to a party. Ultimately, this book encourages us to rethink the way we organize our events and gatherings. By focusing on the why and not just the what, we can create purpose-driven gatherings that are more meaningful and satisfying. The Importance of Exclusion. In this book, the author discusses how exclusion can sometimes be just as important as inclusion, especially when it comes to maintaining the genuine purpose of a group or event. Using examples such as a workout group and a retirement community, the author illustrates how narrowing down a group can actually increase diversity and create a more intimate and enjoyable environment. While it may feel impolite to exclude someone, it can ultimately benefit both the excluded and included parties. Authority in hosting. As a host, it's easy to fall into the trap of being too laid back and not taking the initiative to ensure that guests have a great time. However, being a chill host can lead to a fizzled-out event. The author highlights the importance of embracing generous authority by taking the responsibility of leading guests and making events lively, enjoyable, and memorable. The article provides examples of how exercising authority can benefit guests and how it's better to assert your power as a host to ensure that everyone has a good time. By taking the initiative, you can connect people, help guests make new and surprising connections, and add value to the experience. Rules are also important in authoritative hosting, and the author suggests that by providing guidelines and expectations, you can create a sense of structure and inclusivity, which ultimately makes for a more successful gathering. Liberating rules. Rules are often considered restrictive, but they have the potential to unleash experimentation and meaningful gatherings. The Latitude Society and I Am Here days are examples of how rules can enhance gatherings and enforce presence in a tech-addled world. The use of rules creates a sense of playfulness and easygoing interaction that fosters bonding and belonging. Rules, when implemented correctly, can help bring people out of their everyday way of doing things and make events more meaningful by focusing on just one thing. Starting your event off right. Learn how priming your guests and making them feel welcome can set the tone for your gathering and encourage authenticity. The beginning of any event sets the tone for the rest of the experience. Any host should aim to prime their guests with the right expectations and make them feel welcome and honored to be there. Michel Laprise, a director at Cirque du Soleil, once asked guests to send photographs of 2 happy occasions they'd had in the year past before a pre-Christmas gathering. His guests arrived to find a Christmas tree decorated with their photos, and the mood was set perfectly for a joyous evening. Another way to make guests feel welcome is to honor them as they arrive. This could be as simple as beautifully decorating the table before a friend comes over for lunch, or introducing dinner guests with a story that expresses something unique about them. It's essential to consider ways to encourage authenticity in your guests, which can be challenging. However, a meaningful introduction can help. Sugata Roy Chaudhary, a teacher, recorded attendance by holding eye contact with each student, pointing at them, and stating their full name. Roy Chaudhary's students were mesmerized and immediately felt both honored and excited to be in his class. Honoring your guests and encouraging authenticity can set your event apart. With just a few simple tricks, you can create a memorable experience. Authentic connections. The author, in her experience of facilitating a dinner for wealthy individuals, realized that people often put on a front and rarely share their vulnerabilities. She came up with a theme of the good life for the dinner and asked guests to give a personal toast to encourage real conversations. The result was an emotional and authentic gathering, with guests sharing personal stories that had never been told before. The author suggests that to bring authenticity to your own gatherings, you should ask for personal stories and reveal something vulnerable about yourself first to encourage others to do the same. The key is to create an environment that allows for raw honesty and emotional connections. Making exits count. A great host knows that how you end things shapes people's experiences and memories. Similar to barmen shouting, "Last call," in bars, hosts should provide a clear ending to their gatherings. During dinner parties, it is important to thank guests for the evening and make clear that they are free to leave while still emphasizing that anyone who wants to stay can do so. Additionally, hosts should strive to make their gatherings memorable for the right reasons by incorporating purposeful elements. For instance, instead of a boring recap, a class on management consulting ended with a card trick, reminding students to master the techniques they learned until it looks and feels like magic.
In the end, the art of gathering teaches us valuable techniques and practices to transform our gatherings into truly meaningful and enriching experiences. By setting a clear purpose, carefully selecting attendees, harnessing generous authority as a host, and having well-defined rules, we create an environment where meaningful connections can flourish. Furthermore, thoughtful priming, fostering authenticity, and crafting memorable endings elevate our gatherings to the next level. Embrace these powerful tools and bid farewell to underwhelming and generic events. Instead, welcome gatherings that nurture connections, inspire growth, and celebrate the human experience.